Okay, we can start. So this is the 2017, the ones which we have left out, 3 case studies which we have left out. So that also we'll try to complete today. The first one, I hope you might have gone through this. You are the manager of a company and you have to negotiate a deal with the manager of a larger manufacturing company. So you need to negotiate a deal with another company. The deal is highly competitive and sealing the deal is critical for your company. The deal is being worked out over a dinner. After dinner, the manager of manufacturing company offered to drop you in the hotel in his car. On the way to hotel, he happens to hit a motorcycle, injuring the motorcyclist badly. So you are going with the other managers in with him, and in that course of time, actually, the car hit on a motorcycle and injured the motorcyclist. So you know the manager was driving fast and thus lost control. So the mistake is on the side of the manager, the other person that you know, because you are the eyewitness in this case. The law enforcement officer comes to investigate the issue and you are the sole eyewitness to it. Okay, so knowing the strict laws pertaining to road accidents, you are aware that your honest account of the incident would lead to the prosecution of the manager, and as a consequence, the deal is likely to be jeopardized, which is of immense importance to your company. What are the dilemmas you face? So here, the first thing that you need to answer is, what are the dilemmas that you face here? That you need to explain the different types of dilemmas. What will be your response to the situation? Okay, now you need to explain the challenges here, and it is crystal clear that this deal is going to be very important for your company. So that has been given already. And if you are giving your statement, you are the eyewitness. So that lead to prosecution of the manager, and most likely that deal will go. Okay, so here, what is the dilemma? The dilemma, you can say, it is your firstly you can talk from your organization, because you are representing the organization and you went to negotiate the deal, and after the negotiation, after the dinner, you are coming along with the other manager. So you can talk from the perspective of organization. So here, the organization interest. Now, if you want, you can protect the organization interest by saying, the fake account, or you can say that it is because of the problem with the motorcyclist, or you can simply say you are not aware, you are sleeping, or whatever you want, you can say, right? So then you can protect the organization interest. But then what is the question? What is the dilemma? The humanity, right? So humanity at large, you can say humanity at large. So this is the first dilemma here. Then you can also talk about your, see, this is also your self-interest, right? Because if the company is getting benefited, you will also get benefit out of it. It will also give you incentive, and you will also get promoted. So there is a self-interest also involved here, organization interest and also the self-interest. So self-interest, but at the same time, what is a conflict? You also have the compassion to the motorcyclist. You need to have that humanity element we have discussed, or instead of compassion, you can write empathy towards motorcyclist. So this two cannot achieve at the same time. Thirdly, you can also discuss from the perspective of truth. Either you can go with the truth, or now, you see, in this context, you may also be able to take the partial responsibility of the accident, because you are also part of that. So you can tell whether you need to tell the truth or you should not tell the truth. So you can also talk from the perspective of taking partial responsibility, being co-passenger. You are also part of that accident. Okay, so these are the dilemmas that you can face. Now, if you look into this case study, there are only two options which are available to you. The two options are, either the first thing is, you can actually tell the truth to the law enforcement officer, or what you can do, you can hide the truth, and you can you don't want to tell that. Okay, so these are the two possibilities. First one, you can hide the truth. that you can simply say you don't know, or you can say that a motorcyclist created the problem, because you are the sole eyewitness in this case. Okay, the second option, what is that? You can give the honest account of the actual accident which has happened and what you have seen and what is known to you. It may cause problem to the manager, it may cause problem with the deal, but still you will give your honest account of the accident or the incident. Now what you need to also tell here is what will be the merits and demerits of this if you hide the truth. See here, the merit will be what? Merit will be from the organizational interest and also self-interest. There will be some advantages, but that is of short-term gain, right? What is a demerit here? With respect to all these, it will be affected. Okay, I'll come back to this detail. So if you give the honest account, then the exact opposite. So these are the options available to you. Now, which one you will choose or how will you answer? So tell me, what are the, so if you hide the truth, you can directly say this is a good situation for both your interest, at the same time organizational interest. Because of that itself, you can crack the deal. Once you crack the deal, the company will get benefited. Once the company get benefited, you will get the incentives and you will get the promotion, and your career development will also be in progress. So that is the advantage. That is the only advantage which is actually going to happen in this case. But what is a demerit? Okay, the demerit is actually, this question of empathy, the humanity element, and also your integrity is questioned here. Okay, and you can say it is injustice to the motorcyclist. And more than that, if you remember one word I have repeated many times, that cognitive dissonance. Okay, it is a situation of cognitive dissonance. Your mind says something and you're doing something. So inner mind, the inner conscience will tell you to tell the truth, right? But you're hiding the truth. Tell the truth in support of empathy or humanity or truth, but you're not doing that because of these two. So that situation is what you can explain as cognitive dissonance. So that also you can write here. Now, what about the demerits and merits of this? That is the exact opposite of what we have discussed. See, if you give the honest account, it will give you satisfaction, right? So you will get satisfied because you are telling the truth and you are a law abiding citizen and your moral values. Okay, and all these are the advantage. And you have written injustice here in the first case, injustice to the motorcyclist. So you can say you are able to serve justice to the motorcyclist, and all these way, these are positive in nature. Okay, but what is the demerits here? Demerit will be, it will affect the organization's interest, it will affect the company, it will definitely affect the deal, and it is crystal clear that the manager of that company is getting prosecuted only because of your statement. So that will affect the deal definitely, and your career may also get affected because of that. Even your company also may tell you to not to give the statement to crack this deal, because it is crystal clear that the deal is critical for the company. Okay, so here the problem is you will have to sacrifice this. Now, do you really want to sacrifice this by giving an honest account of the incident that you have seen? That is a question now. So you should go for what? You should go for this answer only. You will say that I'll go with 2, but that means what is the advantage? You have to follow the merit. These are the merit. It is against, it is the moral values. It shows that integrity, it serves justice, and all these things you can write. At the same time, it should not affect the organization and your self development. So what you can do for that, this is anyway positive and you are going with this. What is the demerits here? That you need to try to make it as merit, or the advantage that is actually discussed here, you should make this also as the advantage, or any disadvantage which is going to come because of this honest account that you're going to give. Try to reduce that effect or disadvantages. So what you can do, you can say that you can convince your superiors. Okay, because short term, these things you always need to use these, because last session itself I have told you, before also we have discussed, you need to discuss the short term impact, long term impact. Okay, so short term, okay, these kind of things will go, but long term it will not. See, you crack the deal just by doing this, that's not, may not survive for long. That is one thing, and this is against ethics. Okay, it's not ethical, And you can say that you will convince your superiors so that they will support you to tell the truth, right? So this is something which is your personal life, right? You have seen something, and this is personal, this incident is personal, and the statement that you're going to give is also personal. There is nothing to do with your professional relation here, right? So there should not be any connection between personal relationship and the professional relation. So professional competence and professional dimensions are different than this personal thing. So keep these two separate. So you need to talk to the organization, you need to talk to the superiors or your team leader regarding the situation, or you will face this cognitive dissonance, etc. That is how you need to convince your superiors. Okay. Secondly, see, the other person is representing another company, he is not the owner. So what you can do is you can also talk to the other company that this is the truth, this is the issue which has happened, and the clear mistake is from the manager itself. We have driven the car so fast and reckless driving, so that is the reason why, and you are supposed to tell the truth on humanitarian ground, in terms of justice, in terms of empathy, in all these dimensions you're supposed to tell the truth as a responsible citizen, as a law abiding citizen. You have to tell the truth. So if I tell the truth, just because of that the deal should not be gone. The mistake is from the manager's side. So you also, so first you need to try to convince to your organization. Second, if possible, you can mail the other company that anyway you are in charge of negotiation of the deal. So it's not that you don't have any jurisdiction, you have the right. So it's not that you are just randomly you're doing it, you are in charge of this negotiation. So you can talk to the higher officers of the same company, okay, your company as well as the other company. If not that manager, the deal, it is between two companies and these two are the agents, right? So you try to talk to the other company also, that is another alternative. So this is what you can say. So the question is clearly asking you what is the dilemma that you're facing. These two are the most important dilemma: the organizational interest and the self-interest. This may change like accordingly, okay? It's not necessary that you need to give in this order, but this is the main 2 points which you need to mention, and this truth dilemma also. Okay, any doubts in this, or any suggestion other than this you can give in the situation? Now maybe you can say that you will also talk to the family of the motorcyclist. You can try to offer him the compensation, okay, or you will try to take care of him, you will be able to provide some jobs, or you can if not all these things, you can at least inquire about the health of the motorcyclist, because you are also partially responsible for this, you are also a co-passenger, so you also have some responsibility towards this, so that also have to be shown on the compassionate grounds. That also you can write. Okay, now ultimately towards then what you will say, you are going against the organizational interest. So you need to say in the short term it may be doing some harm to the company, but in long term it will be good for your personal growth also and for the company also. This is the simple one. A building permitted for 3 floors while being extended illegally to 6 floors. Okay, so something which is given illegally means then it is very easy to take actions, because whatever legal remedies, whatever legal action is there, you can do that. There won't be any dilemma or any issue. It is crystal clear illegally, so I don't think this is going to be a difficult case study. And it collapses. Okay, as a consequence, number of innocent laborers including women and children died. So these laborers are migrants of different places. The government immediately announced cash relief to the aggrieved families and arrested the builder. Give reasons for such incidents taking place across the country. Suggest measures to prevent their occurrence. There is nothing to do with this ethics paper or anything here actually. So why this kind of things are happening? This is there. If you see in most of the urban areas, this is the situation. Even everywhere it is there. So what is the reason why this kind of incidents? Incidents means illegally extending the building and getting collapsed and people are dying. The situation you will see. And what are the measures that you can take? This is something which you need to write. Okay. So firstly, the problem with the administration, that is very important. You are not able to implement the rules strictly. There is no effective monitoring. Okay, so the administration, failure of rule of law, and the administration. Okay, so the clearances are not properly verified, the proper monitoring is not there. Okay, so and also in case if there is a violation, maybe some fine will be there, otherwise there is no difficult or more convincing punishment is not there, and also the chances of conviction is also very less. So these are some reasons. And economic reason is there. What is the economic reason? Because it is crystal clear, it has been told that the migrant workers are mostly dying. So this poverty, and because of that you're doing this kinds of jobs. Okay, so because of this forced labor, bonded labor, migration, poverty, all these as the economic reasons you can write here, and their life was in danger, right? This kind of work if you are doing means then you are in danger. Apart from that, what else you can write? Those are reasons. What measures you can do here? Illegally, so proper legal mechanisms, right? It has to work properly, effective monitoring, effective implementation, and then regulatory mechanisms, proper regulatory mechanism should be there, right? For that you can also suggest independent regulatory bodies for this real estate and for these constructions. So independent body which is only looking after this kinds of construction and their clearances and their monitoring, etc. So that is, now this is very specific question, so write accordingly. There may be a lot of suggestions which you can give. Legal and administrative provisions has to be there with respect to the clearances and the grievance redressal. Okay, so any violation, this kind of violation has to be deal strictly, and proper legal mechanisms should be there. Okay, and proper accountability, transparency, strengthening urban local governments, okay, municipalities, all these are suggestions you can give. Okay, what about this one? Just read this. You're a public information officer in a government department. You are aware that RTA Act envisages transparency and accountability in administration. The Act has functioned as a check on the supposedly arbitrarily administrative behavior and actions. However, as a public information officer, you have observed that there are citizens who filed RTA application not for themselves, but on behalf of such stakeholders who purportedly want to have access to information to further their own interest. At the same time, there are these RTA activists who routinely file RTA application and attempt to extort money from the decision makers. So this is a problem which we have already discussed when we discussed about RTA. I've told you the challenges in implementation of RTA. I've told you the fake RTIs, right? This extortion, threatening the officials, and that led to red tapism and all those issues we have discussed, and exactly the same points is what you need to write here. This type of RTA activism has affected the functioning of the administration adversely and also possibly jeopardize the genuineness of the application. So what do you mean by that? Because of that, actually the original documents or original application is also losing its significance, which are essentially aimed at getting justice. What measures would you suggest to separate genuine and non-genuine application? Give merits and demerits of your suggestion. So see here, you will have good innovative suggestions and you can go with that. And also you need to give the merits and demerits. There is no point in me giving some suggestions at this point of time. Maybe for example, I can discuss one or more. Like you can keep a track of those RTA activists or those who file the RTA, and you can keep a check on that, and you can understand by keeping a check on those repeated RTIs, those people who are filing RTIs repeatedly, and see what kind of RTIs they are filing. Is there any connection with them and this RTI, or is it for satisfying some others need, or is it for the purpose of extortion? So that is something which you can do. Keep a check on those RTI activists, and you can mark them so that anytime they file the RTI, you will come to know this is done for this purpose. So for that, you can, maybe the history can be checked. Okay, so whatever RTIs they have filed before, and for that you can use the technology. It's all about suggestions. Okay, so you need to use technology effectively. Maybe you can go for a computer program, so that with the help of the programming or the algorithm which has been set up, you can identify those repeated filing of RTIs, and in which all areas they are filing RTIs. So you will come to know whether it is a genuine application or not. If it is not genuine, you can also say some kind of punishments can be given, right? If it is kind of extortion or anything, so you can deal that illegally, right? So it is a kind of illegal things that they are doing, so there has to be some legal mechanisms also to take care of those kinds of activities, and for that you can involve police, okay, etc., for this kind of activities. So you should not allow the RTI activist misusing the provisions of RTI, and that will jeopardize the entire objective of this. So the question of transparency and accountability may be compromised because of this kind of RTA activism. So whatever you can suggest, now you can go with that, provide the merits and demerits of your suggestion. So when you are giving the suggestion, you can obviously write the merits, and if there is any disadvantage, that also you need to write. So ultimately, what is the objective? Objective of RTA is to ensure transparency and accountability, right? And that is getting hampered because of this. And what is actually happening? What is actually happening is now the officers, the decision makers are afraid of doing anything, and that lead to this red tapism, and it is affecting the implementation of decisions. So the decisions itself is not taken. Forget about implementation because of this issue. So it has to be taken care properly. At the same time, you can also say the public information. Now, one of the most important problem that we have discussed when we discussed about this RTA before, the PIOs are not trained. They have no idea about this act itself, right? They randomly, some people are coming and going. They themselves have no idea about the provisions, about the act. So they must be trained properly, and then only they should be appointed. So that is also one of the suggestion which you can which you can give. So at any cost, the misuse of RTI, that should not be allowed. And this kind of frivolous RTI, just for some, it's like proxy, right? It is for someone else. You are doing this to get the information. That also you should be in a position to identify. How can you identify that? Check the history of the person who's filing the RTI, what kind of RTIs he filed so far, and also check this situation also, extortions, that also should not be allowed. Okay, so that will ensure accountability and transparency. Otherwise, this RTA will not serve its purpose. The entire objective will get compromised if this is a problem. And this is a main problem with respect to RTA. If you're getting this question in general in the part A also, you can write very well this itself as the answer. Okay, now you see, if you go with this approach of solving your case studies in the beginning, okay, if you study the case studies, you will get some good contents. And if you're lucky, maybe in your part A, something connected to this will be there. Okay, and this directly you can write in your part A also. So that kind of questions and question papers you will see in 2015, that kind of questions was there. Directly from case study, you can write your answer in part A also. Okay, so that's about 2017.